Best way to wake up in the morning is with Good Day Dakota.
Well, there's a lot of jargon when it comes to the weather.
Oftentimes, you may even wonder yourself, what are they talking about? Well, this week's Weatherwise meteorologist Stone Schaefer is going to break down some of those terms and types that you might see the storm team talk about here on KX News. Stone, take it away.
Yeah, perfect timing is the next 2 days. We do have that chance of severe weather, especially tomorrow. You've already heard me talk about some of that energy and wind. So what do those mean? What are those terms? Well, the first one is CAPE, or this is the convective availability potential energy. This is the instability of the atmosphere, or usually the amount of fuel available to a thunderstorm. Higher the CAPE, stronger the storm. So some of those thunderstorms you see down in Oklahoma, Texas, Nebraska get those big hail and they get those tornadoes. Those get up to 2,000 to 4,000 joules per kilogram. Here, we usually get about 1,000 joules per kilogram. That's what we're seeing for tomorrow afternoon. And this red area on our SKU-T here is that area of CAPE. So that's what we're reading when we look at the atmosphere to see how much energy there is. We also have SIN, or convective inhibition. That's the strength of the cap, or the energy required to overcome in order for convection to occur. This can be weakened though. Our cap, you might hear about this. We get this quite a bit in North Dakota. Sort of weakens our storms. That can be weakened though by daytime heating, frontal lifting, storm outflow, low-level convergence, or upper-level divergence. So this is something that may hurt us today. It's just getting a little bit of a cap to form. So I want to visualize that for us. Usually in the atmosphere, an uncapped normal atmosphere cools down as you go up in the atmosphere. But when you have a cap, you'll have a layer that has that warming. So we'll go from 80 to 60 back to 70. That would stop thunderstorms from developing any height, unlike an uncapped atmosphere, which allows warm air to freely rise in the atmosphere. And we also have wind shear. You hear this a lot as well, and that is the change of wind speed or direction with height. This is important to severe weather as strong wind shear can tilt updrafts, separating that up and down drafts, allowing fuel to continue to flow into a storm system. And we can tell these by looking at a hodograph here. This is where at the surface, and we can go up in the atmosphere and see how those winds change with speed and direction. And we can also look at a SKU-T here, and that will show us how our winds are changing with direction and speed. So what is wind shear? I wanted to visualize that as well. Well, usually you have wind that's blowing one direction, one speed, and that allows that thunderstorm to develop, but eventually the thunderstorm will sort of rain itself out and sort of weaken. But when you have strong wind shears, maybe picking up a little bit faster up in the atmosphere, well, that's where you start to get stretching, and that downdraft and updraft will separate. This updraft will continue to fuel the storm, allowing that downdraft and rain to continue to fall, creating sometimes hail and tornadoes. So I also want to look at some storm types that we get here in North Dakota and all across the country. One of them, well, that's a squall line. It's a group of storms arranged in a line of heavy winds and rains, usually longer than it is wider, have strong winds and rain, and can pass over an area very quickly, but it's less likely to produce tornadoes. This is a radar picture out in Indiana, Kentucky area of a squall line. We also have bow echoes. These are a squall line that bows as the winds fall behind that line and circulations develop at the ends. Again, usually associated with the threat of strong winds, but can produce tornadoes, heavy rains, and many other severe weather characteristics. And we also have supercell, sort of the king of severe weather. It's a thunderstorm characterized by the presence of a mesocyclone, or deep, persistent, rotating updraft. This is the most uncommon type of thunderstorms, but most likely to produce severe weather like tornadoes and hail, and what we could see over the next couple of days. So remember to continue sending your questions so I can answer them here weekly on Weatherwise.
And you can do so by heading over to our website at kxnet.com and click on Weather and then Weatherwise.
And there you'll see a link that lets you submit your question. Certainly sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
So capes and squalls and bows, it sounds like, you know, superheroes and bugs, I guess a squall, and bow and arrows. I don't know, but it's not. It's all weather related.
That's right. Stone is our weather superhero.
Yeah, you are.
That's right. I don't know if you call me that.
Well, I just did.
You are ours.
That's right. Stone, thanks very much. Now it's time to check out our National Day calendar.
And fire up that grill and get ready for a day